summer long. That's Kid Rock right here on Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. 7 steps to manifest anything you want. These really are the steps that are kind of meant to get you moving. I just recently did a video, 9 techniques for manifesting. So it goes into a lot of really cool techniques on, different ways you can try to manifest things, get things moving in your life. This is actually steps to kind of get yourself flowing into manifestation. And maybe if you're missing a couple of these steps, might actually help kind of get the process happening better as well, right? If you've got all these things in line, and then you're using any number of the 7 techniques, you could be using one of them, 9 techniques, you could be using all 9, whatever works. And as I've said frequently, when it comes to techniques, what works for you is what's best for you, right? If something else works for somebody else and you're having a hard time with it, try one of the other techniques. Just because something else works for somebody else doesn't mean that's the right technique for you. And again, we talk about not comparing ourselves to other people. That's a big thing right there. It works for so-and-so, why doesn't it work for me? Maybe you're not wired quite that way. Maybe you don't imagine the same way. It's okay. Try one of the other techniques. You might find success with that. Then you'll be that person who's going, well, it works when I do the vision board. And then the other person's like, well, I always do imaginal stuff, but it doesn't work when I'm vision board. Oh, why are you able to and I can't? Like, again, who cares? Do what works. That's what's important. So 7 steps. Get clear on what you want. Now, for some of us, self-included, this is actually the harder part for me. Trying to figure out what is it that I want. I'm kind of happy just kind of going day by day, watching things grow progressively. There's nothing like that major I want right now. There's directions I'm heading. There's things I'd like to see. But some of these things, like a new house, for example, a bigger house, that's a little ways down the road, wherever it's at. I'm not sure exactly where, but that's a process that's coming. But, outside of that, maybe improvements in my job, seeing things improve in YouTube. But again, it's kind of a progression versus something I need. I mean, really, in my case, the biggest decision I make every day is what am I going to make myself for dinner, right? And that's always a big thing. So I like to cook, right? So I like to get out there. But what is it that you want? Be clear on what it is that you're trying to manifest. Is it a specific relationship with someone? Is it just a relationship in general? Then be really specific about, the quality of love, the quality of the person, right? All these things. Try to really build that person like you're, Dr. Frankenstein, right? Trying to build them in a lab. And you'll be amazed at how much success you end up with when you actually are able to kind of put that level of effort into it. Again, are you getting a job? Are you getting a boat? Are you getting a house? Getting trying to manifest a new daycare place for your child, maybe, right? Sometimes those are really hard. I hear there's waiting lists that can go on for an eternity, well past your son's or your child's graduation of high school, and then they'll finally get into that daycare, right? So when they're 18, they'll be the only 18-year-old in there because it took that long to get them in. Now, once you have it clear, you're going to want to go to make sure you get step 2 covered, and that is ask the universe. There's a number of ways to ask. That's what I call the techniques, right? I just shared 9 of them recently. Ask the universe. The asking is what we're doing when we're doing the imaginal work and we're doing all that other stuff. That is where the power comes in. That is how we are really able to create this manifestation, to let the universe know, hey, this is what I want. This is what I'm trying to do. Through that process, we let the universe know. Then we basically just let go. We stop. And at that point, it starts coming towards us. It's really that simple. It's all about intention. The asking, the better you do the asking, yeah, there's a level of quality and clarity to that, sure. But for the most part, universe is really there to oblige. It's when we question and disbelief and all those kinds of things that we really actually slow ourselves down. The asking part was fine and was sufficient. And I think a lot of us really get lost in this. We need to keep asking. And the example I used on a show I did with Anya, it's not terribly long ago, it's the last one we recorded for that matter, was if you have a buddy that's going to be coming over tomorrow, right? You're going to have them come over to your house tomorrow after they get off work, and they live close to this restaurant that you both like a lot, right? So you're going to hit your buddy up and you're going to say, hey, when before you head over, like right after you get off work, can you run by, Joe's Tacos and pick us both up some carnitas or whatever, right? Like pick us up some food and bring it over and we'll just chow down. I've got some, some wine or beer or whatever. We'll watch the game, right? You ask them and they're like, yeah, totally. I'll do that. Sounds great. Awesome. Then you hang up the phone. You don't, an hour later, call them up and go, hey, Joe, when you get off work tomorrow, can you make sure you run by and pick us up some carnitas? Dude, you asked me an hour ago. I know. I just wanted to ask you again. Okay. The answer's still the same. All right, sweet. Hang up. Hour later. Hey, Joe, just wanted to say, when you get off work tomorrow, can you pick up some... Dude, you've asked me already. Yeah, I know. I just wanted to ask you again. Why do we keep asking? The asking is not the creating. The creating is imagining and then letting go. That's part of the process. In the letting go, you're letting the universe know. Well, you're letting yourself know, the universe know. It's part of the finalizing and realizing this process works. It's that acceptance of the process. I don't know the right way to say that, I guess, but you're basically acknowledging, yes, I have done what I need to do. It is so. That's what Goddard talks about, how we're creators of our own reality. We're using that God spark within ourselves to create. And when we acknowledge that, when we truly understand that, know that, that's where a lot of the power comes in, is the knowing. And if you know you've asked the question, I know I called my buddy, I don't need to ask him again. I've asked sufficiently. The asking was done properly. Now it's an issue of getting in line with what's coming. That's it. Might take a day, might take a week, might take a month. I don't know. It's going to take however long it takes, but that's okay. I don't worry about that because I know it's on its way. I don't worry about it. I'm be like, well, is it going to be here tomorrow or is it going to be next week? I don't know. It'll be here when it's here. It's great. Number 3, work towards your goals. A lot of people do believe, and I get resistance on this every single time I say it. I don't know. I'm going to keep saying it because I think it's super valuable. A lot of people expect things to fall into their lap. They think law of attraction is literally you're going to attract it to yourself. My view of it is law of attraction is like orbiting bodies in space, right? You've got orbiting bodies, and law of attraction makes your timing so you get close to what it is that you're trying to manifest. Like I said, sometimes it will land in your lap. Most of the time it will not. Most of the time it will not just fall in your lap. It will become very close. Example, you might be in a restaurant where your person walks into. They may not walk right up to your table and go, hi, you manifested me. I'm here to talk to you. They might actually just order some food and do something. It's up to you to go, hey, how you doing? Oh my God, imagine seeing you here. Boom, start the conversation. Now the creation has begun. Now you have synced up with it. Waiting for it to just fall into your lap, you will truly miss opportunities. That will be your lesson in this, because life will pass you by if you're constantly waiting for everything to be handed to you. Here you go. I want you to push button A and then the red button and then put enter. And then you will be done. Okay, dun, dun, dun. No, life is about, here's the thing, and then you look at it and you're like, I don't know, what's the green button do? All right, that's the wrong button. What's the red button do? Ding, ding, ding. Okay, right? Like, we kind of have to interact. We have to experience. That's part of it. There is action in law of attraction. There's also waiting. There's also the non-action. Both yin and yang, whatever, are there. Yang, I don't even know how to properly say it. Whatever the case is, there's a little mixture of both always within it. So 3 actions. What are 3 things that you can do that are actually going to help you towards your goal? Is that maybe filling out your resume? Is that maybe buying some extra clothes for the interview? Is it potentially making room in your closet for this person to move? What are 3 things that you can do that are steps, that are actions, that are actually going to help usher in that energy because you know what's happening? That living as if, right? That's kind of part of that whole thing. Number 4, trust the process. You have to trust it. If you don't, you're going to question it a lot. If you question it a lot, you're throwing up the handbrake. It's okay to do that. It's okay to do that. It does slow you down. So long as that's okay. It does slow you down, but that is part of the process. That is part of this. That is why a lot of us start small, try to manifest something like a few dollars here and there, parking places, green lights, randomly bumping into people, getting people to just contact you out of the blue, maybe friends that you haven't talked to in a while, whatever the case is. You start with smaller things, you do them a bunch of times, and then you'll find that you have a lot more success. Well, you have a lot more trust, in the process. Once that happens, then this becomes a much easier concept to get moving along. Number 5, receive and acknowledge the signs. When you're manifesting something, when you're doing the asking, and you've finished and you've done your asking, you are going to start to notice certain synchronicities that happen in your life. You're going to notice things that seem to point in what it is that you're trying to create. Maybe it's happening to someone you know that's close to you. Maybe you're seeing it just happen in general. Maybe now all of a sudden you're seeing certain initials, or you're seeing letters or numbers or words that are reminding you of what it is that you're trying to manifest. Through that process, acknowledge what you're seeing as, oh, here's some acknowledgments from the universe, and receive them. Be happy to get this. That's part of the process. Don't get so hung up on receiving signs that you lose sight of what it is that you're trying to manifest. What you're trying to manifest in the asking is what creates the signs, and then enjoy them. Don't ask for signs to show you that you're almost there. It's the similar thing where I think Agnes is really famous for saying this all the time, but it's the concept of birds before land, right? As the sailors would come in and get closer to land, they'd start to see birds. That's how they knew they were closer to land. You don't try to manifest birds. You're trying to manifest the land, right? So as you get close to the land, you see the birds. But as someone trying to manifest, you're not trying to manifest birds, because birds don't necessarily in and of themselves mean you're close to land. I mean, kind of does, but not in and of itself. Being close to land creates birds. You want to manifest that. So again, we sometimes get off track and we're trying to manifest signs when in reality, you really want to be trying to manifest something else. And when you tell the universe, no, I just want signs, well, that's what you're going to get, but you're not necessarily going to manifest the thing that you think the signs are representing, because now you're just manifesting signs. You're not manifesting them or the job or whatever. Number 6, keep your vibes high. This is one that I think a lot of us fall prey to, but a lot of times you can allow yourself to go down thought patterns. The way I've typically experienced it in my life, this is what I kind of share it as. There's focusing on what I have, and there's focusing on what I don't have. That's kind of how I see it. Very black and white, but pretty basic scenario. When I focus on what I don't have, I tend to get bummed. I tend to get, I wish I had that. I don't have that. It sucked, blah, blah, blah. And you go down sort of a negative thought pattern. You go down a place and it starts to screw with your vibrations. It starts to screw with your energy. And the quick way for me always to turn away from that, or to turn that frown upside down, is to move into the direction of, what do I have? And all of us have a number of things. We have things. I don't know what your things are. Some of us can be a little grumpy maybe where we're at. Well, I don't have anything. Well, you've got your health. You've got your life. You've got a place to live. You've got food. Like, start small and then start to work your way up. Well, I've got some friends. I've got a good job. Right? Like, you start to realize, I guess I do have a lot of stuff. I'm a lot better off than I just thought 5 minutes ago. And we can get into those, oh, poor me, woe is me, little negative cycles. But the only way to really pull yourself out is to try to think about the positive stuff, to try to focus on the opposite of what's upsetting you. So try to keep your vibrations high. Super important. Super important. Again, vibrations are what we attract. What we're vibrating at is what we attract. That's what law of attraction is talking about. You get your vibration to a certain place, and then you start to attract that into your life. Whatever it is, you want more love in your life, then be more loving. You need to vibrate love to get love back. If you want more money in your life, you need to vibrate money to get more money back. What we're vibrating is what we're getting. Try to keep those vibes up. Last but not least, clear your resistance. Clear it. Now, what that means is not block it. A lot of people try to resist their resistance. No, not what you want to do. Resistance is there to show you something. Resistance is there to help you make a change. So if there's resistance, there could be a belief issue, which could very well fall into self-love. It could fall into a number of those, any number of these things we talk about. But when you've got resistance, there's something there that's slowing you down, that keeps popping into your head. There's a reason why that negative thought keeps popping into your head. There's a belief behind that. There's some childhood thing behind that. Don't be like, no, I can't feel that way. No, it's impossible to feel that. Because what you resist, you persist. What you keep pushing away keeps pushing back. It's there. It's never going anywhere. The second you look at it and acknowledge and hug it and go, I love you, piece of resistance, that is when you can heal it. That is when you grow from it. And that is when it goes away. It's the second you look right at it and understand what and why it is. And when you do that, the resistance goes away, and that doesn't come back. You don't have that same problem again. So again, if we're having issues with self-love, and there's some sort of reason our insecurities keep popping up, well, maybe we need to go to the gym a little more. Maybe just a little more, but maybe we're not really going at all. And maybe just the very act that we know we're doing something to kind of make a difference will actually kind of get rid of that little self-esteem problem that we keep having, because now we realize, I'm making a difference. I look good. You look in the mirror and you're noticing a difference. Maybe you're eating slightly healthier, whatever. Whatever the case is that's helping you or that's causing you in that case to resist and to doubt yourself. So again, these are kind of some examples of where we can look at the resistance and see it for what it is. It's actually helping us resolve what's handbraking ourselves, what's slowing ourselves down. So when we look at that resistance and make a change to it, life can start to get better for us very quickly. So hopefully these help. Got 7 great steps to help you manifest anything you want. Really, these are the bare bones of how we manifest and what goes into it. And if we've got all these things in line, and then you grab a couple techniques from that other video I did, 9 techniques to manifest anything you want or something like that, then boom, you are well on your way to creating anything that your little heart can imagine, or your big heart. Depends really on the size of your heart. Not really sure. Going out with a great song by Oasis. It's called Wonderwall. It's right here on Dan Radio Style.